Thank you for staying with us for the final speech. Here is Radovan Bacovic. He's staff data engineer at GitLab. Radovan has 1,600 colleagues from 56 countries, and they serve 30 million customers with exactly 0 offices. So this is a great chance to hear about the future of work from one of the biggest all-remote companies in the world. Radovan, you can start.
Thank you very much. Hello, folks. This conference became a marathon. I hope you agree with me. We started on Monday with DBT tutorial. I don't know, performed by me. Also, Xillion, very nice, very good talks, excellent speakers. And at the end of the day, the last day finally, probably for organizers, we'll talk about remote work and asynchronous way of work, like 11 beyond that. What is sarcastic here, we'll talk about remote work in person. I don't know for you, but I really like it. And how everything started, who we are. We are GitLab. Maybe you heard, maybe not. In case you're not sure, you will learn more about remote and asynchronous way of working. And what makes us unique? We stand for, I would say, probably the most transparent company in the world. I would say probably just no one wants to suit me, but as per many sources, we are brutally transparent from day one. And of course, we are all remote for early beginning. Please highlight this all remote. If you say remote work, it means sitting from your kitchen, from home, on some dirty office or on the beach, up to you and your choice. But this is all remote. We'll see later what does it mean. And of course, we're the biggest all remote company in the world, probably. And we advocate for asynchronous, or we call it here, async way of work. We'll talk about that later. And we are a global leader in distributed work. We always try to strive and persuade the people what is our operational model, and somehow maybe it can fit to your model. I won't say this is the best in the world, but this is our story, how we succeed. What we are doing, in order to have a company, you need to do something, right? And we are doing one thing. We have one product, but the thing is fairly good. If this talk is performed last year, I would say, yeah, we are doing DevOps product, help you innovate together and do everything much faster. But now we have all-ops era, so I would say this is DevSecOps platform, deliver a single product. My friend told me maybe you can call it DevSecOps, but I think it's a bit offensive, especially for this audience, please. So DevSecOps. Well-known slide with this infinite loop with all stages of your software development lifecycle help you do all the things together and collaborate faster. And for you, ladies and gentlemen, outside of the box, security and compliance are included. So this is going to be butter included. 10 stage, what we support, whatever you're doing in software development world, there is something for you, I think. Plan, create, verify, up to package secure release through configure, monitor, govern, and manage. I know this is Friday, day 5, a conference, just icons, be lazy, and remember all 10 stages. They are something for you. I don't want to kill you by many PowerPoint slides and try to persuade you how cool we are. Let's touch some numbers to feel the taste of GitLab. 0 offices, and this nice young lady said to us, 0 offices from day one. No offices, no problem. Literally, we have no headquarters, we have no satellite, we have no hub offices, nothing. We are working asynchronously and remotely. So that's the reason why we are the biggest all-remote company in the world. Just to correct you, I changed this number recently. 800 plus colleagues around the globe, with very few minor exceptions from exotic places like Cuba, North Korea. But we are everywhere. We are organically 24/7 and working around the world. And I'm so proud of this number, 30 plus million registered users. Small, hot startups, government, non-government organization, well-known enterprises, academia, secret services, all of them are using GitLab, either as a SaaS or on-prem. Plus, these days, we announced something called GitLab Dedicate. It's your private cloud with GitLab, with Butter included, managed by us. You will just have URL, and of course, pay to us, and you can go. 22nd of each month, consecutively 134 times as of now, you know what to expect. New release, cool features of our product. And of course, we changed this rule recently. So, we release a new version of the production each third Thursday of each month. Why? We are human beings, And we have buffer on Friday if something screws up after our release to revert and roll back the release. And of course, we will not bother our guys during weekends and holidays. I think that is so cool and it's human-oriented. As we said, we are brutally transparent. 2,500 web pages of text officially. Unofficially, it's probably 5 times more to expose how we are doing the things. If you have small hot startup, for instance, you want to hire a new colleague and you don't know how to do that, you can ask your friend, which is not a good idea usually, or you can hire HR agency, which is also can be costly, not good idea as well, or you can go in handbook and type GitLab handbook how to hire people. Job grades, expectations, trajectory, requirements, process. Everything is there for you. Everything is open to the world, with few minor exceptions like billing and finance data. Now we're a public company. It's there. Even better, if your business explodes and you need to establish a data team, you can ping me. It's not a good idea. I will charge you. Or you can go there. How to build a successful data team. What projects you should consider and assess. What kind of technology you may use, just as inspiration, is in our handbook. Feel free to use it. It's open to the world. 100% open source. 1 billion, I think I type it properly, we reached finally last month 1 billion CI/CD pipelines executed on our own SaaS resources. This is a great achievement. We are so proud. Very large, good number, very rounded. It's good to expose. And some trivias. First employee from GitLab is from Serbia. 11 years ago. It's our current director of platform. And I am so proud of that because I am also from Serbia. Our first team building was in Novi Sad in Serbia as well. I am from Novi Sad, didn't attend. I was young in that period of time, but still good to know. And also, some well-known Hollywood stars recognized the value of GitLab in early days and earned a lot of money when we went public. So I think Mr. Kucher knows what we are doing and how we are doing that. I think he is happy, and all of us are happy, right? But how to succeed if you're a fully remote company? Let me show you. And start with drill down remote work. It can be nice beach, nice lady on the beach, you know, colorful cocktails. Or it can be more, I would say, dirty room, up to you, as I said. Everyone has different taste. Why to go for remote? Why to embrace the change? Very soon, or even now, as future is today, talented people don't want to live here and there, dictated by HR departments. I have nothing against HR, but still, it's up to us to choose my community, where and how I want to live. And talented people are everywhere. Why you want to lose that buffer and reservoir of talented people? Cities are changing dramatically. I think you can see there if you're living in Belgrade, right? Probably same goes for my city. If you want to go to distant village, if you're pissed off because public transport and all other stuff going along hand by hand to living in metropole area, why you're forbidden to work somewhere in Belgrade, right? So demographic is changed dramatically. Business wants to be more agile because it's not question will next crisis hit us, but when and how it will hit us. Probably remote work is one of the ways to be more resilient from the business side. Leaders want to hire best talents in the world, not from your village, not from your city. Now, globe is a global village, of course. People want healthier life. They want to be in good shape. They want to spend time with their family. They want to do a cool, nice stuff. It's not only about the work. Work will be more and more asynchronous way. That's something you should consider. Okay, remote work, sitting and typing, asynchronous way of work, let's see how it's going. And also it enable more innovation. Why? You can do when you want, how you want, and when you can reconcile your energy and your effort. Actually, it's up to you. So you have a huge autonomy. Culture will be outside of the work. I think we should forget capitalism as its finest with long hours, burning, how they say, hustle, young generation, and that other fluff. It's not so important. First thing first. So this culture will be shifted, and remote work is an organic answer to that. Broadband on internet will be a essential human right. I personally will fully agree with this. Like electricity, like clean water, including internet, it's our right, so we should stand for that. Venture capital is distributed or remote as well. It's not just typical Silicon Valley story. You can find investors around the world, so use the chance with remote work. And not only IT or engineering industries, but also things like manufacturing and medicine can switch, or they are enabled to switch and unleash their potential with remote work. So if you're talking about remote, as I said, typical picture is either nice beach or dirty office, but a fine few granulation, less or more clean. So let's explore them. Part one, from no remote, like no Radovan, you should go to the office. Through remote exceptions, like Radovan can work remotely, right? And you can't work Slavice for some reason. Or some dedicated remote time, or remote days even, are also models, operational models, how to apply the remote job. Well-known or most popular guy is our friend called hybrid remote. Like, okay, it's 2 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 5 plus 5, I don't know, you name it. It's called hybrid remote models. Sometimes in the office, sometimes from home, remotely, kitchen, whatever. Part two, going a little bit more to the remote side. Something called remote first. You have documentation, policies, established process, procedures, tools, and people can support it. But sometimes you visit your office. But you're remote first, not remote only. And remote only, you have collocated work for some specific reason, and also you have core team hours. If you're living in Belgrade or in Eastern Europe, work for US company, you should probably work afternoon, or at least you will have a few hours overlapping at America. It's exhausting if you ask me. I don't like that model personally. Why? I don't want to work second shift. I don't care because you're in US, I'm not. I can choose, I will go for async work. Remote allowed. Few exceptions, like hardware engineers, they should be on site, right? Software engineers, sales can be everywhere they want. And our beauty, it's called all remote. 0 offices, fully documented, fully supported by leadership, and also everything is documented. We talk about brutal transparency in our handbook. By the way, how many of you are working remotely, only remotely? I know for you. Hybrid, in between, and office guys. Okay, so I would say. That's good. Of course, on the other side, it's not all bright. There are some pitfalls. Please be aware of that if you plan to jump into this world of remote work. Sometimes you can feel isolated, like second-class citizen in your company because you're working remotely and everyone else is doing their job in the office. You can feel some information are hidden from you, but that's not true usually, but still, that's your feeling. And you can be demands for overperformance, like, you're working from home, that's your perk, and you're underperforming, man. That's not true, but please be aware of the pitfalls can happen on your journey. And of course, is remote work just a perk? You know, see many open positions inside the world and say, you can work remotely 2 days per week. And they try to sell that to you as a perk. My opinion, maybe I'm wrong, we can argue on that, it's not a perk, it's a product for a few reasons. You need executive sponsorship to sponsor your remote work. You need a leader in remote work. We have in our company head of remote. You need launch strategy, how you should shift from office to remote environment, any kind of this model we mentioned. You need marketing education strategy. Okay, you have never worked remote, right? So I will teach you how to do that. You need resources, budget, experimentation, iteration, Go slowly and fix your process every bloody day, and you need updates of that. Good alignment is a guy called Darren Marf. It's a prior ex-head of remote in GitLab. Actually, he is a strong advocate for this. So just repetition, what he said, and I borrow his statements, and I think this is a good reason to consider remote work as a product, not as a perk. It's not a perk. Don't try to sell it as a perk. Maybe I'm wrong, I said here. And you try and start with remote work. Honeymoon is over. It's not so shiny anymore. Some problems pop up, like in any marriage, of course. What to do next? Let's go step beyond. Let's try to do it asynchronously. That's the key point of today's talk. What means asynchronously? It means I'm start working when I want, how I want, wherever I want, finish what I can, documented all of my process, take over the knowledge and duties to other people, and then do something else. In other words, synchronous work stands for meetings because your presence is mandatory. If you have a meeting or interrupted emails, Slack messages every day, 24/7, if you're distributed work, that can be a problem. For us, asynchronous work is not dictated by calendars and schedulers. My presence is not mandatory. My physical or virtual presence is not part of the deal. How and why? Because this is for engineering-oriented company, equal IT industry plus some other industries. If time is not a critical component, and you need a deep focus in your work, you need to strive for innovation, definitely I would say asynchronous work is for you and your company. That can be your operational model, sure. For whom is not asynchronous way of work? It's not for critical component company. If your time is critical, you need to save lives, you need to respond in a second, sorry, but this is not for you. Find another proper operational model can fit your needs. And of course, is your company or you personally ready for asynchronous or remote way of work? I would say communication is crucial. It's always about the communication, my opinion as well. And then you need to shift your mindset, because with the current mindset, you can't jump in another world. It will be a mess. It will be a shithole, if you ask me. You should build a culture. We have a very strong culture at GitLab. We have a mission, values, sub-values. We are supported by our leadership to empower and do our best work and to be efficient, and also to iterate in a short toes to be better, better, and better. Do not promise too much. So you should build a culture as a leader in your company. You should start promoting hustles and on that kind of stuff from influencers from various business networks. I don't want to name them, but you will recognize them. Provide healthy workspace for your employees and your colleagues. In the long run, it will pay off. You need happy employee and effective employee. My advantage of working in the asynchronous way is I will recognize my peak energy with the task I need to execute, and I will do my work. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's in the evening, because of these young devils. I'm looking at you guys. And at the end of the day, everyone is cool. Mission. You need a mission as a light where to go, to show you the trajectory. Everyone can contribute. I would say everyone should contribute. That's the GitLab mission. It means in GitLab you can contribute, outside of GitLab also you can contribute to GitLab. And same goes for your company. Under this, what's next? Values and sub-values. So we can define our process. We are really trying to living our values. It's not just a piece of paper or a couple of words. And we have something like collaboration, result, efficiency, diversity, inclusion, and belonging, iteration, and transparency. One is most important, result. We are here, or we are there, because of results. To provide the correct outcome and result, we should collaborate among each other. We should be very efficient. We should be diverse to think in a different way. We should iterate and fix and improve our process and our result. And also, we should be brutally transparent to the world. And for each of these values, we have a couple of pages in our handbook. You can check it, but in a nutshell, credit, it's very easy to remember. Also, if you switch or try or plan to switch from collocated or office environment to remote environment, you should reassess and rethink about communication process. Few examples how we're sorting out that problem. Meetings are not mandatory in GitLab. That's rule of thumb. That's great. In last 2 years in GitLab, I sent between 5 and 10 emails. 99% it's outside of our company with external third-party partners. Email is not relevant. Meetings are relevant, but they're not mandatory. There's strong agreement and ground rules for the meetings. Agenda, no meetings. Start on time, finish on time, but your presence is not mandatory. If I want to catch up, I can see a recorded session, because recorded is almost mandatory, not all the time, but we have everything. If you go to YouTube and see GitLab Unfiltered, Radovan or something, you'll find my meetings. Plus agenda, you can catch up easily. So bye-bye for the meetings, which is not needed, and emails. You need documentation to support your process, to educate and, let's say, train your people. One answer for us is our called GitLab Handbook. It's our single source of truth about brutal transparency. You find your model. This is not signed in stone, but work for us properly. You should formalize informal communication. You can go in the office, you can find your colleague, do a chit-chat next to coffee machine or water cooler. We have a different approach because we are not there. Our presence is not in the same place and the same time. We organize social call. It's really outside of any agenda. It's just a random chat like with you after this talk or with you. Doesn't matter. It's just good time to be connected. Another option is like my colleagues went here to the conference thanks to organizers. They have a great talk. I really enjoy with them. I know them for a few years, but saw them twice in my life. But it was such a good experience. That's also one way how you can improve that, with really in-person meetings from time to time. Coffee chat one-on-one. This is a great experience for me because I find out one lady from the US moved with her family in a distant village in Mexico and she's so happy, or where is the best way to do or to, I don't know, spend your winter and be outside of Serbia, probably Gran Canaria or something, or what is the best way to buy a house on Cyprus and things like that. Very, very productive place about culture, history, habits, and see how people are living. We have all of the same problem, so it's good to equalize that. Co-working calls. Bunch of teammates are sitting together, order a pizza, GitLab supported them, and we are just chatting or try to ask funny questions. One of the way, of course, it's not proper replacement for in-person meeting. In-person is in-person, but some kind of good alternative it is. Also very important, anyone in the company can organize EMA session or ask me anything. Each 15 days, we can ask our CEO, Mr. Sibrandi, and our owner from how it's going with your haircut or your preparation for marathon, or do you have car and do you use Uber, up to where you see GitLab in the next 5 years, or what do you think is most important thing, or do you think the data guys are good or bad? Anything you can ask anyone in the company. This is a good format to be really, I would say, intimate with your teammates and also know where the company is going. Hackathons, of course, very easy to organize, very affordable, almost free of charge. You can gather your teammates, you can gather outside community, because in our DNA is to build to community and for community. So once when you organize our well-known hackathons, we include teammates and the entire world, yeah? No limit. Thanks channel. Yesterday example. You know, it was Thanksgiving in US, and me and my colleagues working in co-working space in Belgrade, we need some access to AWS S3 bucket, to support billing data. Guy from US, IT, ran extra miles for us, and we tried to express gratitude. It took me 20 seconds to put in our thanks channel, like, thank you, Jeff, thank you, Vlad, you're great folks, and it's my pleasure to work with you. I was happy, probably they will be happy on Monday or Tuesday when they get me in the office, and please do not forget to celebrate small victories and express gratitude to your colleagues. Despite you're in office or you're online, never mind, but this is a great, great feeling, trust me. Chat channels for shared interest. I like to read the books. There is a book channel. I discover a few nice, good books. If something I like, I will read it. If not, I can propose another book I like, things like that. Also, I'm in martial arts. I like traveling. I like Lego. My kids like Lego. So we always find what is new in our company, what people are assembling. So sometimes we are jealous. But this is also a good way to be more informal. I'm a martial art idiot and geek and freak and travel around the world, so always try to align with my colleagues, like, okay, this is new technique, you have a good academy here and there. If I travel to Berlin, my colleague will wait for me there, we'll train together. Also great stuff, because people are tribal by default. You need your tribe. So these are my tribes when it comes to the company. You need single source of truth, something called handbook. We talk about that. You need to be manager of fun. That is how we call it. You need to master your stuff. You have a great level of autonomy. Of course, GitLab expects a great level of results, right? And responsibility. And you should find purpose in your job somehow. What not to do? Do not assume all resources are prepared and ready for your guys and teammates. Do not try to replicate one-on-one office to remote work or type of work. It's a little bit different. Do not transfer one-on-one all meetings. Try to find the fine-tuning and adjust it to the remote and asynchronous way of work. Do not assume everyone has the perfect position in the house. If you're a leader in your company, you should provide the conditions for your employees. Not the employee, you as a leader. It will not happen overnight. Be persistent. Be patient. It will happen. but not overnight. Iterate on the process. Management is not drastically changed or different office against remote. Why? You have people, you have process, you have tools. This is how you should combine in remote and asynchronous environment. Values will not remain static. You need to align and adjust them through the time. World is changing, people are changing, tools are changing, processes are changing, your revenue is changing. And what questions you have for me before we close, almost say the call, but this talk? Any question, please? Yes? Be loud or take a mic. I will grab a water.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for this great presentation. So a question.
Yes.
So for example, in our company, we mostly follow some sort of agile procedure. Mostly it is Scrum. So how do you do, because then we have those ceremonies and we get around those ceremonies. So how does this work with GitLab?
We have some kind of milestone because it's very difficult to gather all team members. In the data team, we have 6, 7 of data engineers in the team. Once per week, end of our working time, 4 or 5 p.m., once per week, we will sacrifice our time. Someone will wake up early, someone will stay later. So once per week, 45 minutes, we are together. That's not mandatory. You can follow up and write an agenda. Plus, daily meetings. It's a Slack channel with the bot. That's a great stuff. You're done in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? I know in the prayer company, Slavice, we spent half an hour like, I start this, I start, la. It was noisy, and actually there is no value. In Slack channel, type it and forget it. Read your colleagues, read after someone is talking, you can react and you see who is acting. Also, you have a history. So that's one of the answers. Try to automate your process or try to find a proper time slot for that.
How do you organize then Slack channels? So I imagine there must be like tons of messages.
Gazillion message, but actually there's something called threads in Slack. I just follow threads. It means it's important. Or if someone mentioned me, most of the time. And usually I try to turn off check if I need deep focus for my work. We're an engineering company. You can't just be on Slack. It will never end, right?
So you have like a tree of different channels, for example?
Yeah, something like that.
One
I
for
group
each
it somehow. Okay, they are super important, they're not important. When I'm bored, I go there and see thanks channel or about martial arts or books. Okay?
And like daily channel and...
yeah, data daily. Data problem, data triage. If something pops up, you have personal triage and just watch that channel. So somehow your focus is so tight. You're not scattered around. It's very complex. For more information, ping me after the talk or read the handbook, as usual.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more question? Yes?
Maybe you can share team.
Verbalize it, please, just everyone to listen.
Good presentation, thank you. Do you have maybe template for your daily Slack to show your progress?
Yes.
So maybe you can share how it looks.
Ping me on LinkedIn, I will do a screenshot of my channel and you will see the template. What did you do yesterday? Something interesting, it's more personal question. Did you stuck everywhere? What was your progress? And what you plan to do today? Typical Scrum question, and she pointed out. But you can imagine, but if you ping me on LinkedIn, I will send you to exact template. It's open source, so yeah, no problem with that. Yep. More questions? We're tight with the time, I think.
Could you say a couple of words about onboarding? I think onboarding...
Where are you?
Remote onboarding, this is what I think is the most difficult working remote. Could you say a couple of words before we go reading your handbook?
Definitely understand and fully agree with you, Rock. I know this guy's person. Great question, by the way. It's a difficult part. One colleague, I interviewed him. He's working as security data engineer. He started recently. We have onboarding issue. My manager talked about that on Wednesday. You have an issue with checkpoints. It's bulletproof. 4, be familiar with GitLab. Depends on your department. We have one more issue, like department-specific, data onboarding. So actually, you can parallelly finish GitLab onboarding plus data onboarding with checks. One of my talks for data science conference is part of data onboarding. If you want to know how we build a great data product, please ping or watch this talk with Radovan. So my number of views are increasing. Plus, it took 4 or 5 weeks, and we press a pedal after 2 weeks, try to let that people code and commit. Because if you learn something and it's unclear, please fix it in handbook. And for sure, in the first 7 days, you will have at least 1 commit, right? So it's how you be familiar. Plus, you will be assigned to have an onboarding buddy, guys from your team and your time zone, or probably close to your time zone and your team, if it's not possible. So that guy will be your wingman to support you in all stages. More questions, please?
Yeah, from
Yes.
my side, thanks for your talk. Could you elaborate a little bit more about release day? Because how it's happening, who is responsible to roll out and especially roll back when something happens?
This is what I told you for 22nd of each month or each fourth Thursday is more for production team about GitLab product. You should ask them or see in handbook. They have the dedicated team for as a release because they have a release stage and they release GitLab, which is actually built by GitLab, and also they have full set of procedures. But it's mostly automated because in GitLab there is magic button revert, and actually a revert code back to the original state will be generated. So you just press release pipeline, and theoretically you're done and you're getting back to a previous point. It's a cool feature. In the data team, if you have a release train. So actually in data team, we release it non-stop. So it's really CI/CD approach. But for the product, it's once per month. And they have their own procedures. It's fairly interesting. For us, it's just merge, and on merge, some things are triggered, and it's on production. And I don't care about that. So usually it never failed. It's very rare. So I'm so happy because of that.
But if it's failed, do you obligate somehow to roll back it quickly? Or?
As I said, we have something called dog fooding to use our product. So we press that button called revert, and actually code will be reverted and just deploy it again. So actually you'll go to the previous state. So this is starting point, your change. This is what I release. I fuck up, sorry, and then I go to this stage. So revert button, run the pipeline again. Or when I merge that reverted issue or MR, it's going automatically deployed. So it's even easier, just one button press.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, hello. Alexander, I have a question about time zones.
Yes.
Because as a head of DevOps, I have a lot of useful things because of different time zones. Sometimes we need to support infrastructure, 24 hours, and we're trying to sleep sometimes.
Fair enough.
It's really interesting for the companies and for the product, keep the employee in the different time zones with real big difference, 8 hours, 10 hours. So, but for the people and for the team, it's difficulty.
Yes.
Basically, I just have solutions case by case, just talk to people, move the working hours, trying to combine some really face-to-face meetings.
And it's overwhelming for you, right?
Yeah. And first question, of course, do you have some silver bullet for it?
No silver bullet, but you have principles and techniques, like base statements, documented everything. Have an agenda, no agenda, not meeting. Record if you want to share it with the team. That's one of the tricks. Try to record it, what you want to exchange, plus documentation.
Of course. For the working processes, everything prepared, everything optimized, everything documented, but I'm talking more about
deployment.
What I find in your speech more interesting for me, it's personal things, people things.
Human touch.
And what do you have advices about this part? Because in the processes, I know everything what I need to do. But in the personal things, I always feel like I remove guys from each other by them placing them on different zones. And of course, the conference meetings, try to give them opportunity to go to one office month by month to see each other, but maybe you have something else.
Yeah. What I expose here is kind of social course, hackathons. It's kind of personal touch one-on-one with my colleagues. Most of our guys in our IT area is kind of mainly introvert, you know that. So it's maybe they're better communicator one-on-one than in the group. They will be silent. But I would say these 6 categories or ceremonies can be the good starting point. But if you're fully asynchronous and you're somehow around the world, try to reconcile, okay, this guy with this guy. Plus, sometimes we deliberately try to hire people in Asia or in US because one lady resigned from US East Coast and we want to find a colleague on East Coast in US because we have a colleague on West Coast, so our Justin will not be alone and have the buddy for the coffee. At least one-on-one, 2 guys are better than one, right? So that can be the silver bullet. Deliberately try to find the hiring, not randomly. Okay, here's some go-to group, so that's it. Okay, sorry guys, I will be here around, feel free to ask me, so let's close the talk, and of course, and thanks for nice discussion. So really everyone can contribute. Let's wrap up. This is not for everyone. Wisely choose your workforce to have mastering, autonomy, and purpose. This is a product, as per my opinion and our head of remote, You need time, resource, skill, training, and people to shift from no remote to all remote. This is a process. Communication is the key, and build your culture around that, and unleash and iterate on the communication process, make it better and better and better. You should be manager of one. You should be autonomous to execute your work on a daily basis, or even strategically. Transparency is something help us a lot. Be transparent, and be brutally transparent, and create your single source of truth. Handbook in our case, whatever else in your case. I don't know, I don't care. These asynchronous first can unleash many potentials, and this is a future of work, accepted by majority. My biggest takeaway of remote work, I was working in the morning, I'm babysitting 4 kids here, come on, and also I speak in the conference. Why? Because we are working asynchronously. I can work on weekend, but I will not. I can work in the night, I will not. We'll go to museum. Say hello. Hello. Cool, you see. And that's me, ladies and gentlemen. It was my pleasure to be on this conference. I'm kind of asset on data science and frequently talking. I hope it's not boring. Try to find new topic for you. Find me, swear me, suggest me, ping me. Always eager to speak with you. Thank you very much. And thanks to you.
Thank you. Presentation was wonderful. Thank you for your energy. This is a great end of this day in the executive stage is over now. You have one keynote speech in the conference B starting at 17:30 if you want to join. If not, see you next year. You were the great audience. I hope that you learned a lot and mingle with people. That's the most important. This is a certificate of appreciation for your engagement at conference. And thank you so much. It was a perfect.
Hvala.